Okay, folks, last time I had inadvertently turned my sound off, so a lot of that video wasn't, you weren't getting sound, so I'll try to do a better job of monitoring whether or not I'm being heard. I think where I left off was showing you about the prefix DS name level. So let's get back in the system. You know how to get your ID. You know how to get logged onto the system. So I'm going to log back on and try to pick up where I left off. Now, the way I usually log in is they say log in with your ID. You can put LTSO here and then put your ID and then put your password in. And hopefully with this video we'll finish up with part one. It takes a little. Our system at A&T, the one we use at Marist gets on fast because there are fewer users on the system. So here there are more users. And when you see the three dots, you just hit the enter key, and it'll bring you to the next screen. Where you see license materials, you hit enter, that goes away. So we should be getting used to it now. And I showed you how to shortcut to the the dataset name level field. Now, this is what I was trying to show you before I left off. With this toggle, the system is going to say, I know that I need to prefix everything with your user ID. So, for example, if I have a dataset JCL here, and I put the prefix there at the bottom, prefix here, and I just put JCL, I get my dataset. You see the dataset name is Z00745.jcl. That's the full name of the dataset. Now, F3 to get out of this. If I don't do it, if I take this off, if I delete this and delete this slash and after JCL, it says no dataset names found. So I think for most of part one, they want you to have this unchecked. Usually in class we have it checked, but let's just do it the way they have it now. All right, let's go back to the exercise. First exercise is pretty simple. And I also showed you how to download your PuTTY client. We'll be using the PuTTY client today. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to one called URID.pds.data, okay, to a data set. And so put your ID here. It's going to bring up all of your data sets, because all of your data sets are prefixed with Z00745. And I think they want us to do this one. And I did this yesterday, so let me delete these. You don't have to do this. You won't have these when you do this for the first time. I'm going to delete these. I'm going to go back through it again. And I should be able to do it pretty quickly because I did it yesterday. I'm deleting these data sets, and we'll show you how to do that down the road, one step at a time. So now when I go back into it, I don't have any of those. Okay, good. Now, what it wants us to do is we're going to create some members. So we're in what's called a partition data set. And partition data set, let me make sure I'm recording. I'm going to have to do this again. Yes, I'm recording. So we're going to work with two data sets in this exercise, two types of data sets, partition and sequential. Let me get some water. Partition and sequential. Partition data set is like a folder. So in that folder, you have these things called members. They're files. They're files called members. And now we're going to create, so it says, it shows you here, if I go into this data set, it's going to say I don't have any members. Oh, didn't mean to, you don't need to see me. We don't need to take up the bandwidth. I hit a bad key. So what am I doing here? Okay, yeah, I've got to remember to hit the function key. And if I go into pds.data, it's going to say I don't have any members in it. Why? Because I deleted all the members. I had members in it, but I deleted them. Okay, so what this exercise is going to have us do is create some members. What we're going to do is I'm going to scroll down. And so that S command, or S is shortcut for select. So it says select space some file name, and that's going to let you create that file. So I copy this, but you can type it in here. I'm just cutting and pasting, but you can copy it. You can type it if you want to. You got to do one or the other. And so what I have now is I've created a member called welcome. So being in parentheses means it's a member, right? Member of partition data set. And but I don't have any data in it. So how they're going to have us put data in it is to copy some data from another data set. So let's step back and let me explain to you what's going on here. The single quotes mean I'm trying to access a data set that does not belong to me. The reason I have to put single quotes in is that it needs to note explicitly what data set I'm trying to access. Now, if I had said copy space and then a data set name, if I had the prefix slash, the prefix DS name level slashed, it would know that I was trying to access one of my data sets, and I would not need the single quotes. Okay, I would not need the single quotes. So because I'm getting a data set that's not my data set, I have to put the single quotes there. And this data set belongs to a member called ZOS, and the name of the data set is .mtm 2017.public.pds.data, and there is a member in that data set called welcome, and we're going to copy the text or whatever's in that. If it's a program, we're going to copy that in here, but we're going to copy the text of that data set, of that member, into, and I got to be careful because sometimes I say data set when I mean member. Members live inside of data sets just like files live inside of folders or directories. Okay, so I hit enter, and there it copies it. So I have a welcome message, and I can either hit page down to go all the way to the bottom. Now this scrolling thing over here, it says scroll page. That's the amount that you're going to scroll, but we'll come to that later. So I think all I have to do now is just exit from this. It just wants me to save that. So that's welcome, and so we did that, and then we're going to hit F3 to exit. So now I've got a data set member named welcome, and if I go in to view it, I see my text there. Okay, so let's hit F3 to exit from this again. Let me make sure that I'm still recording because I don't want to have to do this again. Yeah, I'm talking and I'm recording. Okay. So the next thing we have to do is we're going to do this again. So they have you do this 3 more times, which is good practice. So we're going to put SMBR1, and we're just creating another member called MBR1. MBR1, enter, and then they're going to have us copy some more text in. Again, I'm copying and I'm cutting and I'm copying and pasting. You may need to type it if you can't figure out how to do this. It just saves me some typing. And I'm just going to put in some more text here. Okay, so there's more text. Blah, 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 blah. And let's see what it wants us to do. I think we just have to exit from this. So, yeah, you read those instructions, do what they say do, but we're going to move along. And so it tells us to do anything else. Oh, so let's do this. Let's do what it says do. I didn't do this before. Line 13. Put a D anywhere in here. And hit press enter. That line goes away. So it's showing you how to delete a line. Shows you how to delete a line. Is that all we have to do? Yeah, then we just save it. F3 to save it. Oh, it's the right screen. Okay, so I have welcome MBR1. I have 2 members in that data set, in the data set PDS data. Now I'm going to do it again. MBR2. Okay, I've created another member. It's empty. And I'm going to copy some more text here. Again, you may need to type this out, but I'm just copying and pasting. So I have some more text. Okay, so what is this telling us to do? So it's explaining to you that these MSG lines are just messages, and if you type reset, those will go away. Does it tell us to do that? Yeah, so we've got a little editing exercise here. So again, this is ISPF editor, and this is the tool that you use to communicate with the system. One of the tools, the many tools to communicate with it. Did I not copy that? Okay. What did I do wrong? I am. So, okay. So now the semicolon just change the commands together. So what I'm doing, I'm saying reset. So that's a command, semicolon, and then C means copy, and the first string is mainframe is. You're going to replace that string with Z systems R, and space all means that do it everywhere you find those things. So yeah, this is a pretty good introduction to ISPF. I'm going to hit enter here, and you'll notice the message. Oh, invalid scroll not means that I didn't have, I typed over there for some reason. Turn that back to page. Okay. Now, yeah, so you see the messages go away, and everywhere it said mainframe is, it's going to say Z systems are. And where it's changed, you'll see the CHG. Okay, great. Moving right along. And we're going to hit F3 to save this and exit. And I think they're going to have us do it one more time. So we say SMBR3. Creates another member. This repetition is good, and I'm just going to, you can type this, but I'm just going to copy it. And I'm toggling back and forth. If you don't know why screens is changing, I'm just toggling back and forth on my PC. I'm using a PC. And I hit enter. And the PF show just means that you your function keys, your F keys disappear. See, there they are down there. And you do that just to have a little more real estate on your screen. They're going to tell us what function keys we need, so we don't really need that down there. So get a few more lines, a couple more lines of real estate. F3 again. And refresh lets us see the entire list of data sets. I'm sorry, members. I told you I'd say data sets sometimes when I mean members. So we have MBR1, MBR2, MBR3, and welcome. Okay. Now what does it tell us to do? Oh, now the next part of this exercise, we're going to do a sequential. We're going to do a sequential data set. We'll do a sequential data set. So, and the difference is the sequential data set just has bytes in it. Partition data set has members. So we're going to exit out to our data sets, and then we're going to go down here to sequential. And I've got some characters in here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and you'll see this in a bit. I'm just putting DDs there to delete all this stuff. All right, so that's empty now. This is the way you're going to see it. It's going to be empty when you go to it. So we're going to copy in some data here, some text, and it means copy this data set. And sequential data sets don't have members, so it just has bytes in it. And we're going to turn PO show off. Well, I was already off, but it's not going to have a problem with that. So we have some stuff that we copied in. Now it's going to have us format this. And what you see the F is the character name for character set for the mainframe back in the 60s. There wasn't a character set, so IBM had to invent one. So we're going to run a macro called xname. Enter the following on the primary command line. So we're going to say xname up here. That's a macro. Macro is just a file that somebody wrote. Okay, see, Bart, Lisa, Maggie. Okay, it's going to do some clever stuff in a moment here. There's another one we're going to use. It's called XCXG. That's a file. It's not a system file. It was written for Master Mainframe Contest. Going to run that. Okay. And I think we're done. Yeah, so we exit from this with F3. And keep hitting F3 till you get all the way out to the system here. Now, if you ever see this screen, sometimes when you're exiting, you'll see this screen. You just, if 2's not there, hit 2. and it gets you out of the system. And then you just type log off, and you're out. And I think that's all we'll do for this section. We'll go back. The next video we will cover using PuTTY and Unix.